Hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Okay, Sword Art Online, episode 21. This one was very good. To an extent, it was very good. I was just talking to my good friend Ryoku Delonris. He says, "Yeah, incest." There were moments where incest was brought up, but this episode was far more than that. Okay. Now the name, I'm trying to figure out what the name of this episode was. I believe it was called, just find it. Sorry for the little music there. This one was called The Truth Behind Alfheim. And according to, wow, we only have 4 more episodes to go. 4 more. That's pretty crazy. Now, beginning of this episode, we have Lifa and Kirito. They're amazed at the capital, the central capital that's right underneath the World Tree, called Arun. A-Run. A-R-U-N. A-R-U-N. Arun. And pretty much they decide that they're going to go and get a inn to go stay at. Because, they need to stay at an inn because they find out there's an announcement coming up, and the announcement says that from 4 to 7 a.m. they're going to do maintenance on the world, and no players are going to be able to be there when the maintenance is taking place. So they need to log out. So they go to this inn. They go find an inn and there's a little joke that Yui says, "I know an inn that's very cheap, super cheap." She's buzzing around. Now, that's what happened there. But, like I said, the name of this episode was The Truth Behind Alfheim. What happens is, remember we saw last week, ASUNA. She broke out of her cage, and she broke out. We saw that part. We didn't know where she was going to go. In this episode, we find out. So, this episode was basically, what happened was the thing with Kirito and Lifa going into the capital of Arun, and likewise going into the real world with Kirito and his sister, and the thing with ASUNA. Now, what ends up happening is ASUNA, she's walking down, man, she was like, I don't want to say a ninja, but she was walking in there saying, she wanted to find out what was going on. More importantly, she was trying to find a way to log out. And what happens is, she gets out of her cage, she walks down this path, and she comes to this doorway. She uses her hand to open it, and then she walks down this other doorway. And it was very weird. She was very scared and skittish. I gotta love ASUNA. You gotta love her. So, I might as well just tell you what happened block for block with ASUNA. Then I'll get to the whole thing with Kirito and his sister. She basically went through this corridor. She found this map, ASUNA. And the map, there was this one section. It's basically a map of the World Tree. Experiments. And she was curious about it. So she goes into this room, and in the room, this big room, are these like components, these components, and a hologram of a brain. So what's going on here is it's as Sugo told her. And we get a flashback of him when he's talking about it. And he basically is able, what he's able to do, he's able to alter people's memories and experiences and everything. Hell, he could even make them be in a comatose state for the rest of their lives. And she notices and she says that they're suffering, this is awful, and she says, I have to stop him. What happens is what happens after that, there are these two, like, slug things that come in, and surprisingly enough, we find out more or less that they're scientists that are experimenting on people in their minds. And she notices a console, sort of like the console in SAO. You know, the one that Yui was able to control? Well, she found it. It was basically this cube, and she goes to it, slides this card down, and she was able to find her name. And was about to log out, but she got caught by those slug things. And those slug things disgusted the hell out of me. Any sooner, and I was going to, like, go buy a rocket launcher and shoot at the fucking slug things. Because they captured her, and they were going to do something to her, very nasty things. No. Suna bit the guy's tentacle. It was really nasty. So basically, she was about to log out. And that was the crazy part. I mean, if those guys hadn't caught her, she would have logged out. And she just would have taken off the headset, logged out, and would have been alive when Kirito walked, because that's what happened, see. Kirito, when he logged out, went with his sister to go see ASUNA. It was almost like, you know? So what ends up happening is, the two slug things get word from the boss, that SUGU Elf King motherfucker, not to, just to bring her back to her bird cage, her cage. However, it seems like ASUNA does something right before they bring her out to the cage. And what we find out is she took the card, the console. Look at ASUNA, man. She's awesome. And she went back to her cell and she has it. And she says, and then she swiftly says that she's not going to give up Kirito-kun. That's pretty much what happened there. Now, let's get into this very complex situation. So Kirito is going to the hospital to see ASUNA, right? And SUGU, not Sugo, SUGU, his sister, decides to go with him. And he introduces her to ASUNA. She's obviously sleeping, still in a coma. And she's changing the flowers. And SUGU, she realizes that she's in love with her brother. But she can't do anything about it. And she's like thinking to herself how she's never expressed these feelings, she's never brought it out, you know, and so on and so forth. And then we have her going back to the world, and she's crying, Lifa, uncontrollably, to Kirito. Now, the thing is, in this episode, it seemed like it was almost slipped, because I thought to myself, Kirito, you know, he didn't connect the dots here. I mean, he could have connected the dots here and said to himself, oh my god, this is my sister. But he didn't. Now she was crying and saying, I shouldn't be telling Kirito, I shouldn't be, bringing real life problems here to this situation. And he's like, it's okay. And what ends up happening is Yui, Lifa, and Kirito, they're walking out and going to outside. They're going to go to the from their inn, and they're going to go to central part of the capital. Once they go right into the central part, Yui says, "Mommy is here. She's right here." She picks up on ASUNA's location. And she says it's right above us. And then Yurito just, boom! Wings gone! And just shoots up. And that's basically what happened in this episode. Now, rating. Giving this a 5. I know this is silly to do, but I'm giving this a 5. Between ASUNA sneaking in there and trying to log out and finding out the truth behind these experiments, to see, here's the thing. Now, she supposedly, SUGU, isn't blood related to Kirito, to, I should say, Kazuto. I believe that's his name. So, it's not, they're not blood related. So, it's not like, you know, his mother is her mother. It's not that situation. She's really his cousin. But the end result is that she loves him. But she kept saying to herself that she now has to take all those feelings and put them aside and put them deep inside and not. And it's really sad. I found this to be like an emotional episode with that point. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing I want to know. At the end of the day, when this series is finished, when you get to the final episode, does Kirito find out that Lifa is his sister? Because if he finds out it's his sister, then it's a different story. Then it's going to be like, oh my god, you know? But I don't think that's going to... I mean, it could happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It could happen. It's still a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. But even if it is going to happen, I still don't think Kirito's going to just go with his sister. This is not going to happen. He has a very close relationship with ASUNA. He's trying to save ASUNA. He wants to be with ASUNA. It's as simple as that. I feel sad for SUGU, though. SUGU. She's... You know, it's... This whole... Since Alfheim Online has started, this whole relationship between her and Kirito is like... Japanese are really weird when it comes to these things. Oni-chan and shit. But it's obvious that she loves her brother. But it was really sad and touching. She was crying her eyes out. It was just like... broken heart. You know? Really sad. But 5 out of 5. Those slug things pissed me off. I'm gonna take those tentacles and just... rage mode. Because they were using those fucking purple, disgusting glob things on ASUNA. It pissed me off. Well, ASUNA bit her his thing. So, we'll see how it goes from here. Next couple episodes should be interesting. They should be very interesting. So we will have to see. This has been Bankai 922. ASUNA for the motherfucking win. And I feel so bad for SUGU, his sister. See ya.